Well, hello everyone. You're here to show you that the Matty Blue Moon coloring right here is talking about with me is like that you're talking about is that the creative activity that that I went ahead and do right here is talking about is it's like you got right here is the notebook paper, and then along right here is you say the creative writing utensil it is. You got the pen, and along with the pencil, and then a few colored pens, and then along with the green marker it is. But then of course you get a variety of color of crayons. But right here is talking about with the moon right here is that I went ahead and drew this right here is like not even looking at the moon, as I would say is what I would mention about maybe 10 billion times is that whenever I the amount of times that I had looked at the moon, and then knowing about the fact about really what it looks like, maybe through a telescope it is, but it's like how many light years maybe the moon is away from planet Earth it is. It's like you use the calculator maybe to calculate about how many how many light years or something like that. It's like measured by it's like how many how many chopsticks or whatever does it take to get to the moon, whatever you call it. It's like that type of phrase, that type of any type of game like that. But anyway, but what I went ahead and drew right here is of course is the blue moon, and then of course the blue moon in my the imaginary blue moon is talking about is that I went ahead and drew with like a round shape right here, and then of course added some some little design patterns right here. It which it kind of looks like maybe like a sideways 3, maybe on like what you call maybe on a cucumber, whatever it is. But I went ahead and added some artistic coloring, some colors right here. It's like for the part for it's like for where the type of design for the shape of the moon, and then along with that artistic field of is for the artistic talent. It's like I guess you say this the architectural design for say what the moon would look like. But then of course that I went ahead and what it did right here is of course starting out with is the green, and then along with the blue is like for the blue moon is go ahead and just add just a little bit of coloring of say of green right here, and not a whole lot, but mainly just to get the parts for where that at the moon is, since the moon is round, is to kind of get the sides right here with just a little bit of shade, and then shade of green, and then of course go ahead and add a little bit of a darker shade of green right here, like for the side of the part of the moon. And then make it to give it like the round shape is of course is to go ahead and add a little bit of green right here. It's like for the bottom is like kind of like what you call a side by side the shifty type motion right here. It's like for if it were round. But it's like if most of us have seen the videos I posted about what I captured about, it's like for the blue moon. It's like you got the like for the blue moon, and then of course it's like did not even add a star. And I don't know, Mike, most of us here have probably seen it's like the one the stars that I drew. But yeah, and then I'm going to add a little bit of the blue also. But anyway, I'm sure that like you know that that the moon is like made look like just what you call a spot, say a spot on paper it is. But then of course on the other hand too, that there's like that certain pastel art that makes it look a little bit more artistic, and that's something of course is putting a little bit more creativity at it. So you got right here is the green, and then along with the blue. But then of course if maybe if you want to change the color to like a mix of brown, add just a little bit of brown right here. But anyway, you have right here is like for the blue moon, and then you got the artistic say the design right here for the blue moon. And go ahead and add just a little bit of the color right here is like, and then leave a little bit of white towards in the middle. Leave a little white just to say if the planet were glowing. It's like you got the planets. It's like along with Pluto and along with Saturn and everything is if it were glowing. And then but anyway, but for whatever reason, it's like with the activity that any activities that they would have you do in school, it is that a lot of times I would a lot of times do projects what you call related to you say if I were to explain something, then a lot of times I would draw it. It's like if I were to draw a star, it's like here, here's a star. Like a star, a lot of times I really don't know how many sides it has. I'm guessing maybe at least 13 sides. I guess I can go ahead and draw a star right here, 13 sides. But other than that, you got right here is the star, and then if I wanted to add like a little, say, some glow effects right here, to the star. It's like when I say glow effects, I mean it's like what you call it if it were glowing. But anyway, but a lot of the projects that I did whenever I was in school, of course, would inquire anything related to anything creative. And a lot of times I kind of ask myself that question. It's like, why is it that I always really want to do that? But I guess I really just think that some people may think that it was maybe just something that I want to do, but then on the other hand too, that I just all of a sudden just maybe experiment around with the different color, the different colors, and just thinking about that as a fact about what they do. A lot of times I really just think that in a lot of ways, if it's paint or if it's chalk or anything like that, maybe any wood shop working tools, that a lot of times you probably say just experiment around for what they do and for how they work, and then the more likely it is like with the gas burning engines is like exactly about what they do. It's like for to give yourself a point. It's like you give yourself credit. It's like for yourself for the hard work. It's that my teachers used to always either put a smiley face or a star next to the next to an answer that maybe I'll get right, or maybe -2 points for not talking about this or that. But other than that, it's like you have right there is for the Matty Blue Moon. It's like for the assignment and all the activity. Right here is like knowing it's about the blue moon. It's like the moon is like for what causes it to rotate, which you call certain amount of light years from the moon, and how many times does it bypass from the moon it is from the planet Earth. And then of course there's an orbit around, say, our solar system it is. But other than that is that is they is calculated is that use a variety of mathematical type studies, and along with the telescope readings it is, and it's like along with the different sciences that more likely say this, that the way you explain it, of course, is to give me the answers first, and then I'll go ahead and come up with the questions, whatever it is. But of course, on the other hand too, that a lot of times that the teachers will probably say that -2 or maybe -5 for not talking about this or that. But then on the other hand too, that a lot of times they would usually give me credit for either trying or, of course, say it's like for any good artistic talent. But other than that, is that you got right here is for the Matty and the Blue Moon coloring.